Hey there, Central Ohio. I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Michael Behrens, and alongside
Jay
Plyburn.
Plyburn. How's it going?
How you doing?
Well, we survived another cold start to the day. Winter felt like it returned today. We've talked about this. There's cold, and then there's back in the 20s, having to layer up. That's just, it feels like we're too far into the year to be dealing with that.
I mean, we are in early April right now. It's not impossible for us to get cold outbreaks, but boy, we don't like to see it this deep into those.
Well, we've had the warmer temperatures in past weeks. It's like, you know.
You know, we had those freeze watches return this morning, and the reason those return is because we're deep enough into the year that people kind of start to put some of those more sensitive plants into the ground. They start to have things start to bloom,
put the winter clothing away.
Yeah, that's the mistake.
That's the mistake, yeah.
This morning, though, the main weather impact was those temperatures because it was cold outside. Yeah. You could have ended up looking like this guy here if you didn't bundle up out the door. But the good news is this is the last morning. We're not expecting to see any more of those freeze warnings this week. In fact, we're not expecting to see temperatures drop back below freezing again, at least here in Columbus for the rest of the week. Some of those areas further to the north could still get cold, but for us, we're seeing a warm up. The bad news is that's coming with rain. In fact, this afternoon, showers return to the region. So before you head out the door, make sure you have an umbrella, that you're ready for a little bit of rainfall. We're not talking anything excessively heavy, not like what we ended the weekend with all of the flooding out there. We maybe pick up another quarter-inch to a half-inch between now and the end of the week, which is, you know, good rain, but not the extreme rain that we've seen. But just be ready to dodge a few showers. The good news is the afternoon started off with sunshine. That helped to push temperatures up just a little bit. We started off the day pretty cold. Look at these low temperatures. We got all the way down to 28 in Columbus this morning, 24 in Newark. That was down to 22 in Marion, 23 Mansfield and Athens. A very cold start to the day today. And like I said, the good news is we're only going to warm up from here. Some places could even be about 20 degrees warmer tomorrow morning compared to where we were today. We pushed those temperatures from the 30s early in the day to around 50 by this afternoon. But you notice the cloud cover has solidly taken over the afternoon hours. That comes with rain chances out there as well. It's going to be a little bit scattered, but I think anytime from about 3 o'clock onward could have a chance for a shower, especially earlier in the day for areas to the west of I-71. We'll be watching some rain pushing in. Our rain chances this evening into tonight hang around 60%. We'll dry out a little bit for tomorrow. We're not going to talk completely dry, but we're also going to talk plenty of time to get out and enjoy. So don't really cancel any plans for Thursday. Just keep an eye on the 10 TV app for that latest radar. As we get into Friday, some rain lingering around. Kept us about 30% here in Columbus, but I think the further east you get of Columbus on Friday, that rain chance is going to ramp up quickly, especially as you get over toward the Pennsylvania border. We could be dealing with some more widespread rain activity as the system kind of lingers out to our east. As we head into this afternoon, we'll be watching that rain pushing out of Illinois. Yes, those are some snowflakes up there to northern Illinois this morning. That could be the case again, some of our northern counties too, as you see that push of colder air up to Michigan. I'm not going to rule out a wet snowflake somewhere in central Ohio this afternoon. If I had to bet, I'd say up toward Bucyrus and Mansfield. Let's time that out hour by hour. Here comes the cloud cover and the rain. Again, you can see the shower chances pushing into Columbus after 3 o'clock this afternoon. Those areas of blue, far northern counties, don't look for this to be widespread or sticking. It's not going to be that kind of winter weather. We had some snow stick earlier this week on Monday morning. I would not expect to see that again. The rain out there, again, fairly widespread, but still kind of scattered in nature, especially once we get past that first wave. We'll see another wave come through later tonight. Can I rule out a rumble of thunder in there? Not entirely, but I think for the most part, this is just going to be a rainmaker. As we head into Thursday, we'll get back into some dry period out there. A little bit of sunshine, too, popping through those clouds. Getting into the afternoon, especially to the south, maybe a thunderstorm forms out there. And tomorrow, it'll be a little bit warmer. We're talking temperatures back up into the 60s, so we'll keep a close eye on those. But other than that, a lot of usable time in the day tomorrow. We see those rain showers again kind of linger into Friday, But again, watch those counties out to the east as we head into Friday afternoon. I think the further you get away from Columbus, the further east of 71, the better your rain chances will be as we head into the end of the week. But the good news is we're going to be back to dry weather as we head toward the weekend. In fact, warmer weather as we head toward the weekend as well. Your 10 weather impact 7-day forecast here. Temperatures below average for most of this week. We're about where we should be Thursday, but still a couple of degrees below this time of the year. However, those temperatures start to warm up as we head toward early next week. I want to walk you through some of the temperatures before we get there, though. Start Thursday morning. We talked about that temperature going up 15, 20 degrees compared to what it was today. We were down at 23 in Athens this morning. Forecast for tomorrow is 42 in the morning. So that's almost a 20-degree jump for you guys. 45 the forecast for Piketon, 41 here in Columbus. Not quite 15 degrees out there, but a decent jump nonetheless. As we head toward tomorrow, you'll really notice the difference compared to where we were today. I want to talk about the rain too. That again lingers toward Friday. By the time it's all said and done, not adding a massive amount here, around 1/4 to 1/2 inch in most spots. The areas where you might get more and will have to watch out are further to the east. You can see that number there in Caldwell up to about 1.04 on the model, and that will be dependent on how much of that rain lingers into Friday, because those eastern counties could see some of that rain linger as we head into the start of the weekend. So we'll be watching that. As we get toward the end of the forecast, sunshine out there Sunday into Monday, mid-70s out there for the high Monday afternoon. Rain chances come back as we head to Tuesday, but those temperatures still stay in the 70s. Looking a little bit beyond the 7-day though, not expected to keep that warmth. The extended outlook, 8 to 14 days, we drop back below normal across Ohio and up into the northeast when it comes to temperatures. Not excessively so we're probably still talking temperatures that are going to be in the 50s, but that's not the 70s, so it's going to be notably colder. And we could be a little bit more toward the wet side of things, has us just slightly above average when it comes to rainfall. However, though, weekend dry weather, you can't beat that. And I am glad, Jay, that I have Mondays off, because that's 75 and mostly sunny day. That comes for the start of my weekend. And that's hard to beat this time of year.
Maybe I'll just take Monday off. Management doesn't see this.
Sick Friday, maybe?
No.
A little fever there?
No. I tell you what, though, it is nice to see mid-70s on that. It's just wild to me to have the 30s on there. A couple of days later, you got the 70s. But that's Central Ohio this time of year.
I mean, you get to this time of the year, you got the mix of seasons coming together. It's why spring weather's so interesting in our region, because you get those mixes of cold days and warm days and the stormy weather that comes in between.
Our sinuses love it. The hot to cold, cold to hot.
The pollen's taking a number on you.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And Jay, while our weather, it's kind of drying out. We got a little bit of rain in there, but we'll dry out this weekend. The floodwaters from over last weekend still remain high in numerous places around the Midwest. These pictures from over Louisville, where homeowners, numerous houses were still underwater Tuesday. That was a bad scene there. Over 1 foot of rain fell last week from Wednesday through Sunday across parts of the Mid-South. Some locations a little bit further down the map, including Memphis, Tennessee, recorded an entire spring's worth of rain in just a few days. Brian Abel picks up the story from here.
That road is completely underwater.
From road closures across Arkansas to homes only visible by rooftops peeking out of floodwaters in Prospect, Kentucky, the deadly danger continues following last week's severe storms. At least 24 people have died across 7 central and southern states, including 10 lives lost in Tennessee.
We're starting to move teams, especially to the west. Even into next week, we're looking at some flooding and significant flooding.
Not welcome news for communities where rivers have reached major flood stage.
The water was up to my thigh, ice cold. And then as I stepped out, I almost fell because the water was dragging me.
People in several counties across the Bluegrass State had to ration their water for several hours on Monday after multiple water utility plants shut down their electrical equipment used to pump water from rivers.
An incredible job by the Frankfurt Plant Board in getting everything back up and running to everybody who is conserving, including my family.
Rivers are still exceeding barriers. Water seeping through as a tractor struggles to hold up a floodgate in Frankfurt. Tuesday, rescues continued in several water-ravaged places, including eastern Mississippi. Officials are urging people to steer clear of any flooded roads.
Please do not drive through either standing or running water. Turn around. Don't drown.
Brian Abel reporting.
And switching now to some environment news. If you're looking to save some money and help the environment, the Franklin Soil and Water Conservation District actually helping you out, and all it takes is a little gardening. Check this out. If you remove one of these invasive plants and replace it, you can get some cash.
Okay.
And not a bad deal there. If you live in Columbus, Grove City, Reynoldsburg, or Westerville, you could get $100, while New Albany will give you $150. Again, all you have to do is remove that plant, send a picture of the invasive species out on the ground, and the new native plant safely planted in its place. Of course, we'll have more information on that at 10tv.com. But for now, and more environmental news, here's Jesse Mitchell with CBS News Climate Watch.
We're keeping an eye on the climate. Here's what you need to know. The WMO Hurricane Committee has retired several storm names from the Atlantic and Eastern Pacific basins after the destruction they caused in 2024. Retired names include Beryl, Helene, Milton, and John, replaced by Brianna, Holly, Miguel, and Jake. The 2024 Atlantic hurricane season marked the 9th consecutive year of above-average activity, and the year ahead could bring more dangerous storms, as experts predict 17 named storms, 9 hurricanes, and 4 of them are expected to be Category 3 or stronger. The above-average activity is anticipated due to warmer Atlantic waters and uncertain El Niño conditions. Coastal floods in the U.S. are now 3 times more frequent than 30 years ago, and by 2050, they're expected to happen 10 times more often than today. The new analysis from Climate Central warns that by 2050, rising seas will threaten areas where 2.5 million Americans live today. The report highlights that 1.4 million homes will be at risk from coastal flooding, with Florida making up about a quarter of that number. Older residents will be especially vulnerable, as the study shows a high concentration of people aged 65 and older in the at-risk zones. And with climate change bringing more unpredictable risks, homeowners are finding it harder to find affordable insurance coverage. A new survey from Value Penguin by LendingTree found that 2/3 of homeowners saw their premiums rise in 2024, and 1 in 4 said they were dropped by their insurer. Half of homeowners now worry their homes could become uninsurable, and nearly 75% expect more rate hikes in 2025. Many people are trying to cut costs, with more than half shopping around for better rates or asking for discounts, but some have taken drastic steps like reducing coverage or considering dropping insurance altogether to self-insure. That's your Climate Watch. For the latest on climate and environmental news, go to cbsnews.com and follow us on Instagram at CBS News Planet. I'm Jesse Mitchell in New York.
And finally today, let's check out some new video into us here at 10 TV, sticking with the storms. This is surveillance video from a Carco gas station in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. Ooh, look at that. Captures the moment a large tree fell across the road Monday, smashing a car that was waiting at the traffic light just inches away from coming down on that driver. Thankfully, she made it out of that vehicle okay.
My goodness.
Talk about a game of inches there. You could see her just running off to the motorist in front of her, but look at that. Everything's fine, and then it's not.
That has got to be so scary. I mean, you can imagine what that car looks like on the inside now. And you're right, it was so close to, if that,
you can see the airbags all went off in the car. So, I mean, talk about something that hits you without warning. You don't even know how to react to this. You're sitting in your car, all of a sudden crash, all your airbags go off. It's got to just be complete shock.
And it's in the ground. I mean, it just all of a sudden falls. Wow, that's scary. Yeah, that's really wild.
Absolutely, just those waterlogged soils, and the roots just couldn't hold it anymore.
Give out. Wow, crazy.
Absolutely. Some happier news here, or at least more interesting news, cuter news for sure. U.S. biotechnology company Colossal Biosciences claims it's produced 3 dire wolves, species that's been extinct for 10,000 years. They did it by modifying the genome of a modern-day gray wolf and using DNA they collected from fossils. This footage came out earlier this week. You can see a couple of those wolf cubs there playing around. You know, that included a 13,000-year-old wolf tooth and a 72,000-year-old inner bone of a wolf to make this happen, though some experts are skeptical as they're not sure you could actually, clone the entire genome of a wolf from DNA that old. Either way, though, the results are cute, but one step closer to Jurassic Park.
Right, yeah. I can think of a few different reasons why this is maybe not the best idea. Playing God here, people. I don't know. There's a reason maybe they're not around anymore. Cute, though. As puppies,
Absolutely,
certainly cute. I saw this video a couple of days ago. They're just kind of howling there.
I was saying, the question is, how much bigger do they get? Wow. And, one of my friends shared this clip with me, mentioned Jurassic Park.
Yeah, of course.
My only response was, the consequences could be dire.
Dire wolf.
That's a bad joke.
There are also efforts to bring back the dodo bird and the woolly mammoth, right? It's, they're working on this, trying to do some gene splicing, and again, I don't know why necessarily, but that makes for interesting news content.
What's the saying? Was it Jurassic Park? We were so worried about whether or not we could, we didn't ask whether or not we should.
Whether we should, yeah.
I don't know if that's the exact right quote, but I think it's in the same spirit.
Makes me want to go back and watch Jurassic Park, though. Great movie. Great movie.
Here comes dire wolves.
Oh, boy.
And that's the sign we made it to the end of this show. We have more coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz will fill you in on the latest with the rain.